Morning, everyone. So today I'd like to share with you all of the different ways you can screw up making bread, particularly challah, which is what I've been making today. And I did use a recipe from a fantastic book called The Cheese Board that my dear friend Bear bought for me. I go ahead and I triple the recipe, which is a normal thing for me. I always like to bake in large quantities. So I put my flour and salt and sugar and, all my dry ingredients together. I put them inside of the mixer. Everything's going super fantastic. I'm excited. I'm relaxed. It's a nice day. I can't wait for that smell. Okay, I go ahead into the refrigerator. I get my butter. And screw up number one is I realize, oh my goodness, the butter's too hard. Because when you're making challah, you need to have the butter that you cut in be soft enough so it can be chopped up with the chopper inside the flour, so it kind of gets like coarse in a way. But it's too hard to do that, right? So I go ahead and I put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and of course, yes, it's now too soft. All right, anyway, I go ahead and I pop it in anyway, and I'm cutting it in and I'm cutting it in as the mixer's mixing, and it's working out okay, no problem. Then I go ahead to get my eggs. And because I've tripled the recipe, I need 9 eggs. Well, I only have 6 eggs. All right, so you can see problem after problem. Now, I decided not to go out and get more eggs. I just figured, all right, here's what I'll do. I'll take the dry ingredients that are all mixed up and I'll cut them into 2 batches, right? I'll break it out. And then I'll only bake 1 batch today. Consequently, I only need about 4 eggs. I go ahead and I take this dough, that's not a dough really, it's more like flour, sugar, a little bit of the butter broken up. I put it into the mixer, and I'm really excited, so I go ahead and start mixing it. I go ahead and add my 3-4 eggs, and everything's looking good, and I realize, my goodness, the dough is awfully floury. It's really not even coming together like a dough. Well, duh, I forgot to actually put in the water, right? So I go ahead and I take a cup of water, and I put it in, and now it's mixing up real nice. Now it's starting to look like a dough. And then all of a sudden I realize I didn't do my yeast mixture. I'm supposed to mix the yeast with the water, let it start to bubble so the yeast comes to life, and then pour it in. Okay, so now I'm breaking lots of rules. I decide to take the yeast, mix it up with a little bit of warm water, and put it in even though the dough is already kind of formed. I've never done that before, and I basically figured, okay, what's the worst case scenario? It doesn't work. I'll go ahead and get rid of it. So I start to mix that up, and it actually starts to come together, looking just like my normal challah dough. I finish off the kneading off out of the mixer on the cutting board, and go ahead and start to form it after letting it rise, reforming it, letting it rise again, and I put it in the oven. Now, I didn't see the level of rise that I normally do while it's outside the oven. But I figured I'd give it a go anyway. So I formed it into some rolls and put it in the oven. And why don't we go take a look and see what it looks like. Okay, so that looks pretty good, doesn't it? So I guess I did everything wrong, but it still turned out okay. So, moral to the story, don't be scared of baking bread. Particularly, don't be scared of yeast. And I guess the basic ultimate end point here is just go ahead, experiment, bake, screw up, no big deal, and look, it even comes out really nice sometimes. Now, let's taste this challah. Okay, so I just pulled it out of the oven. Take a look. Now that doesn't look all that bad, does it? I mean, if you're thinking about baking bread, particularly challah, this is exactly what you want it to look like. You want to have this nice brown top. It's really kind of hot, but so here you go. You got this beautiful brown top. And listen, that's the sound you want. You want it to sound kind of hollow. Now let's go ahead and break this thing open. Oh my goodness, the steam. Can you see the steam? Oh, look at that. Wow. Okay, so you got the beautiful color inside. Take a look at that. Your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flake. And let's take a little taste. When it cools down, the outside will get a little bit crunchier, but this is perfect. And so remember, the recipe I'm using is out of the Cheese Board book. I'll also post it on the Culinary Compass here. And don't worry about making mistakes when you bake. Obviously, the results the results ain't that bad. Ciao for now.